Earlier today, Heidi asked if it was easier to do the moves shorter, and that led me to thinking about a conversation that I have been having for years with Peter about the gift, challenges, and diversity that each prop will give you. The reality is the Goldilocks length for anything is very subjective based on a whole bunch of things. There's the weight to length ratio of the poi, there's how it is that you grip the poi, there's the thickness of the tether, there's the general resistance, there's whether or not you have swivels, there's whether or not you have a counterbalanced handle, there's your training, there's your arm length, there's certainly in my experience, boob size matters. Some people will say it's a physiology thing, but like when you got girls, they're in the way for some inside plane moves, you know, so you could risk hitting them. I think all of these things are relevant to what's actually happening, and therefore you can't say, oh, well, it is easier or it isn't easier. Things that are common in my experience is if it's shorter poi, it typically will spin faster because it takes less time. At least in my experience, it feels like it takes less time to go around the circle like this than to go around the circle like this. So the longer it is, in my experience, the easier it is to slow it down. But there is the factor of being able to control the tether from the handle all the way to the tip of the ball where the weight is, and that can get harder to do as it's longer as well. So there's a weight to length ratio. And then the resistance that you have along the way is also going to affect what you're actually experiencing. So if you have a thicker tether, for example, that's probably going to have more resistance than a thinner tether. But too thin a tether may feel like it's spinning a little too fast. And then you can always add more weight to the end to give yourself more resistance if that is something that you need. It's, you know, you can put a bag around it with beans or something like a Ziploc bag, or sew some fabric onto it, or put some socks on it and then put beans in the bottom of the sock and tie the sock around it or something like that. You can add more weight if you need to. That said, there was a point in time where I had easily 50 sets of poi. And the reason why is because every set of poi has a unique gift in terms of what it teaches you. And like you may have noticed, if you started using poi with veils on them or flags on them or some sort of ribbon or streamer, that it has more drag on it as you're spinning because there's more resistance, because that flag thing is just hitting more air and sucking more of your energy away from it. So you have to be a little bit stronger to spin it if it has that sort of resistance going against you. All of those factors come up as you start spinning with different poi. So even if you have two poi that are the same materials, but they're two different lengths, or you have a slightly different weight in the handle of one of the knobs than the other one, these things might affect what you're actually feeling. And you'll learn new skills as a result in response to what it is that you're actually experiencing with each of the sets of poi as you're moving with them. So the answer to the question is, it might be easier, but I can't say objectively that would be so. Subjectively to you, it might be easier. And again, depends on all of these factors. And it especially also depends on what you're doing. I mean, because there are certain moves, you know, if you're working with your inside plane and you're trying to, like if you're in here, there is only so long you can go. There's like, I couldn't do my full length poi because it won't fit under my arm. And just for point of reference, this is my full length poi. Like this is, you know, that's all the way up past my shoulder. It looks like to me. Maybe it's not. I don't have your perspective. I'll look later on the video and tell myself whether I got that right or not. Anyway, size does matter. So have fun playing with the size of whatever it is you're playing with.